How's it going, Top Forest TV? My name is Jack, and welcome to my preview for Nottingham Forest versus Leicester, taking place at the King Power Stadium on Monday. So at this point, I just really want the game to hurry up. I'm in this weird position at the minute, sort of supporting Forest, where I'm kind of not so much looking forward to necessarily watching us play. I'm not sat there thinking, oh, I really want to watch Forest play. We play such entertaining football. I really want to see us play, like maybe an Arsenal fan at the moment or a Man City fan, for example. But I'm more I want to, I can't wait for us to play, just so that, because of the possibility to get more points on the board, that possibility to get a result, I want that possibility to have a bit of, I don't want to say happiness from football, but have that where I'm not sort of looking back on a result where we bottled a lead at the break and capitulated in a 10-minute spell and ended up losing 3-2, or before that, playing quite well in the first half, being 2-0 up and losing 3-2. I want to get to a position where I'm no longer sort of looking back on poor performances and losses, but I want a game where I look at it and say, yes, we played well, we won the game, we've got more points on the board now. It's not sort of so much doom and gloom. The last game we played was a positive, and we're not sort of looking back on a negative, if you know what I mean. It is a must-win, this one. A really big game for us. A big game for Leicester also. Leicester sitting bottom. We're just one place above them. 3 points ahead. So, dependent on the goals, the goal difference, I'm not entirely sure what it is off the top of my head at the moment. But a win could take them above us. I'm not entirely sure, on the goal difference side of things. But there is a possibility that we lose, we go bottom. A win or draw, and we do stay above them, but obviously we want to get that win. We don't want to get a draw. We want to try and open a bit of a gap up to the bottom of the table, try and maybe overtake a couple of other clubs. Not sure how West Ham are getting on currently. They're playing Wolves. Again, a win could potentially take us above them if they lose to Wolves, that sort of thing. So, it is only early days in the Premier League, and once things click, potentially we could move well away from danger. You saw Newcastle last year. Okay, yes, they had a massive cash injection, a new manager and everything like that, but they went from, I think they had so many games where they hardly won a game, or they picked up very little points, and then they managed to finish relatively mid-table come the end of the season. I know that's probably not going to happen the same way for us, because we're not going to have an Arab come over from Saudi Arabia, a really wealthy sort of takeover and that sort of thing. But we could have that moment where the team finally gels, finally clicks, and finally we're able to then look to then move forward and move away from the drop zone. This one, like I say, both teams really need to win this one to try and start a little bit of a move up the table, if possible. Leicester really been underwhelming to start off the season. 1 point out of a possible, what would it be, 24? Something like that. That was on the opening day, a 2-2 draw, where they were 2-0 up against Brentford. And to be fair, they're not particularly playing too badly going forward. They lost quite heavily. I think it was 5-2 against Tottenham. But, they played quite well going forward. It was just poor goalkeeping and poor defending that sort of did let Tottenham score the 5 goals. I was really surprised that Kasper Schmeichel left in the summer. I thought he may last his career there, but ultimately, there was a better offer for him in Nice, and it was the right time for him to go, so fair enough. But the fact that Leicester didn't really bring anybody in to try and sort that out is quite a weird one. I was talking to somebody earlier on, and it was just sort of wondering why are they not spending money? Are they in financial problems? Are they sort of skint and don't really have any money to buy players? I think they only bought one sort of backup centre back. I can't remember his name, but he's from the Belgian league, if I remember correctly. Is it the Belgian league? or he might be a Belgian player from the French. I can't remember, but he's a centre back nonetheless. And I think that not to the decision not to sort of replace Schmeichel's a really weird one for me, to be honest with you, because I think Schmeichel is a very good manager. What am I on about? A very good goalkeeper who served the club really, really well, and he's been a real kind of helping hand in a lot of things that Leicester have done well in winning the league. He was a really solid keeper in that season. He's done really well in sort of helping them to get Europa League, Conference League football and that sort of thing, stay in the league when they first got promoted. So he's been a really good servant for the club, and he's done a really good job. And then, to let him go and not bring anybody in, they put a lot of faith in Danny Ward, who hasn't really got much Premier League experience. I know that he did get promoted via the playoffs, if I remember correctly, with Huddersfield, but they decided not to sort of stick with him. I think they went for Jonas Lörsel. I think he was at Liverpool for a bit as well. Danny Ward. So I don't think he's really played all too much in the Premier League. So it's a big gamble, and unfortunately for Leicester, it's not really paid off so far. But, I think going forward and sort of in the midfield, they've still got some really, really good players. James Maddison, he's had a really good start to the season. Just a shame for him that the defence and things have let him down. Harvey Barnes, another good player that they've got. They've got some quality players, as we've seen over the past couple of years. Getting to the semi-final of the Conference League was a massive thing for them. And, they're not a bad side, but just defensively, they've not been the best. Sionchu's struggled this season. I'm not sure whether Johnny Evans has been out, but I know when Sionchu's not been with Johnny Evans, he has really struggled. So on a Leicester point of view, going forward and in midfield, they're okay. It's just they need to sort out the defence and the goalkeeper, I think, to really look to move forward. But as for Forest, I don't know. You've got to look at it and have a bit of hope. The way that we play in the first half. I mean, the first half against Bournemouth, we were, very good on top. 2 goals, Kouyaté header, and I think it was a Brennan Johnson penalty. I've not watched the highlights back. I can't stomach that. I've not watched the highlights of the Fulham game back either. I can't. But first off, we played really well, and if we can maintain that for a full 90 minutes, then I think we should be okay against Leicester, but it's about being able to maintain it, and I'm not sure what it is. For whatever reason, we just can't seem to do so. Whether it's a case of we take our eye off the game, sort of fall off the boil a little bit, take the foot off the gas, and think that the game might be in our hands, or what it is, I don't know. Tiredness creeping in, I'm not sure, but to do it back to back, it's not good enough. And I think if we can eradicate that, then we should be okay. You look at the first half performance against Bournemouth, really, you can't fault it. And then we go and drop that second half and it undoes it. You look at individual performances against Fulham, O'Brien off the bench, a must start for me. Absolute must start. To say that he's not been injured or anything that I can remember, and to not start him is a weird one. But yeah, I think it's really important that he does start, and he looked like a shining light from that Fulham game off the bench. So yeah, there are positives to take, but there is definitely a lot to improve. But we need to make sure that we see a game through to the end. We're ruthless and we keep going. We don't kind of take a lead and sit back, but we go for it and really put in 100% for the full 90 and really go for it and try and add to it if we can, sort of thing. In terms of a lineup for me, does that 5 at the back work? It's something that Cooper likes to use, something that Cooper's familiar with. He used it, also used it at Swansea, used it last season at Forest, used it all the games so far this season, and I do believe he probably will go with it again. Served us well last season. Don't know why he would really change it, because it looks like it's his philosophy. I'm pretty sure he'd want to stick with it. So I'd go with Henderson in goal. A back 5, you're going to go with Nico Williams. Big calls to be made about the centre-backs. Do you drop Worrell again? Do you drop McKenna? Do you start Cook? I'm not sure. I think for me, the back 5, I'd go, like I said, Nico Williams. Left back, probably Renan Lodi. The 3... Three centre backs. I think you got to go with McKenna. I know he made that mistake against Bournemouth, but you got to go with him. I think he's been quite solid. Other than that, I'd love to say go with Joe Wall, but I'm not sure. You know what? Yeah, Joe Wall. And I want to see probably like is it Bebe, the new Brazilian centre back. Give him a shot in between the three of them. I think. Actually, no. If Niakate is back, get my man in that back three 100%. I forgot about him for a second. Get him in. He is such a cut above in terms of some of the players that we currently have in that position. But yeah, for me, you've got to go with Niakate if he's fit. Oh, sorry about that. If he's not fit, then you go Bebe, McKenna, and Worrell for me. Midfield, I think for me, I want to see O'Brien and Mangala. If Mangala's fit, he's starting 100%. O'Brien has to start for me. If he's not fit, maybe Raymond Freuler scored for Switzerland, so he might have a bit of confidence flowing through him. But yeah, you've got to start O'Brien and Mangala. The midfield partnership against West Ham in the only game we've won so far, they were very good. They had an understanding. They've been playing with each other for a while. It was the first game they played with each other. I think you've got to start the pair of them in the middle of the park, and then the sort of the three going forward. I want to see more from Lingard. I'd love to start Lingard, and I want to see him prove what he can do. But I think Cooper will probably go with Gibbs White, and then a front two.